Shalom, call hello, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, Bahashim Akakadash, double hundreds, and double apostles, and double bishops of GMS, even the elders again before them that taught us this truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers up pushing the truth and pushing the word of truth and insincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, the 144,000, one-third, the hopeful elect of tabernacle of David, Salakia. And the brother Yahshua, I'm back with the WW3 Daily update. Shalom and salutations to you all. 2nd Ezra 13 and 29. Behold, the days come when the Most High will deliver them that are upon the earth, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth, and one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against. There's your World War III, and one realm against another. When the angels arrive, then it'll turn into a celestial war, but that's a different lesson. Just going to take a look. This is your boy Cinnamon Shogun, 19 hours ago, and it's war across the board. I'm going to let him speak. Take it away, Cinnamon.
London and Paris continue to make is disguised as the so-called peacekeeping mission on March 21st in Watford at the initiative of the British Prime Minister. In hybrid form, where there was a meeting of military.
I'm going to attempt to start this over.
London and Paris continue to make plans about military intervention in Ukraine. It is disguised as the so-called peacekeeping mission on March 21st in Watford at the initiative of the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. In hybrid form, where there was a meeting of military brass of 30 countries, for which had quite an interesting name, Coalition of the Willing. These countries are ready to send their troops to Ukraine. This topic will continue today in Paris at the leaders' level. I would like to draw your attention to the fact that our country stands categorically against this scenario that is fraught with a direct confrontation between Russia and NATO.
Coming forward with contributions on everything from logistics and command and control to deployments on land, on air, and on sea.
So last time I checked, we were supposed to be working out some sort of peace deal between Russia and Ukraine.
Peace and safety, then sudden destruction.
But as Trump is on the phone with Putin and Zelensky trying to work something out, meanwhile, the UK and France are having sneaky little meetings about sending troops into Ukraine. If you really want peace, if you really want a ceasefire, if you want this war to come to an end, the last thing you do is go in front of 1,000 cameras and announce to your nation that you're ready to deploy troops on land, air, and sea in Ukraine to defend Ukraine from Russia. What? Like, this is the very last thing you would do if you want peace. But these people don't want peace. They want war. They're desperate for war, and they're going to do whatever they can to drag the U.S. into this. This is their last desperation effort, which is why they're talking about sending troops to Ukraine now before a peace deal gets worked out, before a ceasefire deal gets worked out, because they want to drag the U.S. into this. You see, if troops from the UK or troops from France came under attack while they were in Ukraine, we would kind of be obligated to come to their defense because of NATO, which is one of the reasons why a lot of people think that we should pull out of NATO. And when looking at that, I'm kind of hesitant. Maybe we shouldn't pull out of NATO. Maybe we should. We don't want to lose all of our allies. But if our allies are actively trying to drag us into World War III, a war they know they can't win on their own. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand, Russia and UK, they're talking tough. They cannot back it up. Europe cannot back up any of this tough talk that they're doing against Russia. The rest of NATO cannot back up any of this stuff. They can't. They simply cannot. They depend on us. They want to throw rocks, right, at Russia. They want to poke the bear and then say, oh, America, come on. What are you doing, America? U.S., what are you doing? Why aren't you helping? That's what's going on here. So if they drag this into a bigger conflict between NATO and Russia, the US is going to be the main one that has to deal with that unless something changes. And they know that, so this is their last ditch effort to drag us in to this conflict. So as the US is desperately trying to figure out a way to end this war, the UK and France and others are actively trying to sabotage peace talks, but not just that, they're trying to escalate this conflict to the point of no return. And Zelensky and Ukraine, they literally just this morning launched an incursion into Russia. So basically, they have invaded a small portion of Russia and they're taking over small villages right now as we speak. There's a lot of fighting going on, and this is like the last thing you do if you want peace or a ceasefire. Now, what their plan is, they plan on trying to take over some small areas in Russia, and they want to use this as a bargaining chip at the bargaining table when it comes to working out a deal with Russia. But last time they tried this, it didn't necessarily work. It worked at first, but they've been driven out of those areas, so now they're trying it again. And like I said, I understand that they want to try to use these regions that they're taking over, these little villages. They want to use this as a bargaining chip, but this is not what you do when you're trying to make peace. When you're trying to have a ceasefire, this is not what you do. And folks, when it comes to war, you have to take your emotions and your feelings and you got to put them to the side. Because this is real life. This is war, folks. This is not a true crime story. This is not your favorite celebrity drama with Blake Lively or whatever the hell her name is. This is real shit. Okay? Your emotions, your feelings don't matter here at all. So you can look at this situation and say, Russia is wrong for invading. Russia is very wrong. Ukraine shouldn't give up any land. How dare Russia do this? Russia is the aggressor. Russia, blah, blah, blah. You could feel that way all you want. It doesn't matter. The reality is that reality is harsh. We live in a very harsh world. People have been dying in wars before you were born, before I was born. They're going to be dying in wars way after we're gone. Yeah, I think it's wrong that people get in tanks and blow people up. But it's been going on before I was conceived, and it's going to be going on for years after I'm gone.
Gotta stop him right there. Great delivery there, Shogun, but let's get to the facts. So we got war, right? But this is the last one. Let's go back where we started. Okay. What happened here? 29. Okay, so started 31, and one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against. What we see right now. But what's different about this war that he doesn't understand is this part, and one realm against another. All right, so the Most High is going to send his son and the angels into the fray. Okay, and let me say this. The angels were present in World War I. The angels were present in World War II. They called them Foo Fighters and, fast walkers. And, right? If you understand these things, okay? Let me get that real quick. Because this right here, where do we go? 31. And one realm. That's when the angels come in. But again, what is a fast walker? Slovakia. What's a fast walker? Fast walkers. I think World War I. 36. That's World War II. Sleepwalkers. Let's see. The fast walker. Not Not that. What is a fast walker? Product description. Explore the phenomena of fast walkers, the term used by NORAD to refer to unidentified flying objects that enter the Earth's atmosphere from outer space. Through this provocative documentary, that offers amazing UFO photos and video footage alongside expert testimony from scientists who advocate for proof of extraterrestrial contact, blah, 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 blah. Fastwalker is a chariot. Let me go back, Salat. What year did NORAD begin using the term fast walker? The Black Vault. Just answer my fucking question. NORAD history. We're not going to tell you, Negro. Santa Tracker, NORAD, 69-year-old tradition started with what? You been tracking that long, nigga? What the hell? I don't want you to see that, do you? There's nothing here to see, nigger. Go home. Look at this. Anyway, it all began in 55. Fast walkers. 64, did it say? Slovakia. 84? The first documented fast walker sighting occurred in 84. What did they call UFOs during World War I? Was that Foo Fighters? That was World War II. What was the slang term used for UFOs during World War I? What it is? Flying saucers. I guess flying saucers was first, but that was in the 50s, right? Slovakia. Anyway, they are called fast walkers. And then in World War II, they called them Foo Fighters. Flying saucers. See, during the late 40s and through the 50s, UFOs were called flying saucers. So what were they called during World War I? Because they saw them, is the point being made. Okay, they were everywhere in all wars is the point. Let me go back from here real quick. Let me get Foo Fighters. Not a rock and roll band. Foo Fighters meaning. In World War II, during World War II, that's all I want. Okay. Term Foo Fighters was used by Allied aircraft pilots during World War II to describe various UFOs. Okay. So they were there is the point I'm making. Okay. Going back to what is about to happen. One realm against another. This is Revelation 19. Let's get it again. We'll end on this real quick. I'll get up. The final battle. See, there's not going to be any more wars after this war right here. Revelation 19 and 19. And I saw the beast, NATO, and the EU, and the kings of the earth, and their armies. So all the kings of the earth, right, have armies. So that's all the armies on the earth there. Get it? What would that be? That would be, if they were fighting, if all the armies on the earth were fighting each other, what would it be called? World War III, right? Now, gathered together, okay? Well, they were already fighting each other. They said, wait, wait, wait. Waved a white flag and said, wait, wait, nigga. We're tripping. All right, look over there. Okay. Well, they stopped fighting each other and said, we got bigger fish to fry, to make war against him that sat on the horse, Yahushua, and the angels, his army. See? Which starts right here, 31. One realm, that's where it starts. Okay? And here's the battle. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and da-da-da-da-da-da. Boom. Right? And that's another lesson. But the point being made is this. Shogun can clearly see ain't gonna be no let's get peace and safety. That needs to come down. 1 Timothy, Slock it. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 3. For when they shall say, for when they shall say, peace and safety, then shall sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. All right. So anyway, buckle your seatbelts. It's about to get bumpy. All right, for everybody. Shalom.